Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Meveline and I am an international student living in Germany, originally from Cameroon. In the video today, I'm going to be giving you some tips on how to beat procrastination, okay? And this is mostly what I've been trying out and I see that it's working for me, so that's why I decided to share them with you. As you can see, I have bullet points on my phone, so I'm gonna check them out from time to time. In total, I have 10 points on how to beat procrastination and stay on your game. So if you clicked on this video, I presume that somehow you're slacking on the task you're supposed to be doing at this point in your life. I want you to know that it is okay, we all do that. It happens to the best of us. But the goal is trying to stay on top of it at every time, or trying to beat it whenever it shows up. So yeah, the first of my ideas on how to get rid of procrastination or how to beat procrastination would be, I'll put it this way: get rid of all distractions, right? It could be changing your work environment, because personally for me, on low days, when I just want to sleep in bed and do nothing, if I can carry myself out of the house and maybe to a library, maybe to a coffee store or something, then I'm able to be productive in a way, which would be way better than just staying at home, because most often I would not be able to focus for as long as I want to. After doing a small task, I might just resort to going to the kitchen, checking the fridge, seeing what's there, and probably eating something that I'm not supposed to be eating at that time, just because I'm trying not to do what I'm supposed to do in the meantime. So if it's going out to work from out that works for you, then why not? I know most people will be like, you need to learn how to discipline yourself and try to do what you're supposed to do when you have to. Yes, that's right. But there are times as well that it's just like almost impossible. And you might need to get away to be able to do what you have to do, and that's perfectly okay. That should be okay. Also, in terms of procrastination, it might be not buying certain food, right? Because most often when I'm lazy, when I get lazy, I just want to eat junk. I want to snack a lot. And in order for me to avoid all of that, I just don't keep the snacks at home. Like all those things that would distract me. Instead of working, I'm just eating or I'm just doing something. I try to put them away. It might also be your phone. You might want to keep your phone a little bit further away from you. The phone shouldn't be anywhere that you can just reach out and get and grab it or something. You could put it upstairs if you're working downstairs. You could put it in the room and you sit down and work in the parlor, just so that you're not picking it every now and then. Because one particular thing we all do is, when we are being lazy, we are scrolling. Instead of doing a particular task, you're scrolling. I do that, most people do that. Which means that if the phone is a little bit further away from you, then you try to do what you're supposed to do in the meantime. That brings us to point number 2. Give yourself an incentive if you achieve a goal. This has been my thing for like the past 2 years right now. Rewarding yourself when you achieve certain things, especially on lazy days. You want to give yourself something to look forward to. It might be hanging out with friends, going out for partying, or I don't know, shopping, getting yourself something nice. But just always give yourself something to look forward to in those days when you feel like you don't want to do anything. And that's going to push you a little further, okay? Personally, for me, there are times when I need to take like some exams, or there are times when I need to do certain things which are really important, but I just don't feel like I'm in the mood to study and all of that. What I mostly do is I tell myself that I'm going to get myself a good pair of shoes, because for me personally, footwear is like my guilty pleasure. We all do have one or two things that we are so into. We all do have guilty pleasures. But sometimes I just try not to buy shoes because I know I have way more than I need. But then, because I have to buy shoes, or I want to buy shoes every now and then, I give myself a reason to get the shoes. So it's like, if I accomplish this task, then I get a good pair of sneakers, because that's like my guilty pleasure. Yeah, so if I accomplish this task, then I get this. It's quite fun for me, because it's like I have something to look forward to. There is a reward, there's something I'm going to get at the end of that. So it pushes me, even on the lazy days, to want to work towards achieving that goal, because I know achieving that goal means a new pair of sneakers. It means going out for a party. It means I don't know, whatever, eating out or something like that. So always give yourself a reward to look forward to. It kind of pushes you a little bit. The third way that you can beat procrastination is giving yourself breaks in between. We all have hard days, and because we have hard days, it means that we have to try and work slowly or try and work at our pace, if that makes sense. You might set aside a certain amount of time. Let's say you have to study for an exam, but you don't feel like studying for that exam because you just lie on the couch and do nothing. But then you can choose to do that and give yourself breaks in between. Let's say you're watching your favorite series. You can wake up in the morning and decide to study for that exam, and then let's say maybe 2 hours down the line or 2 or 3 hours down the line, you decide that, oh, I'm taking a 20 minutes break, I'm taking a 15 minutes break, I'm taking a 10 minutes break, and in this time you watch your favorite TV show, but do make sure you do not exceed. Like if you've given yourself 15 minutes, like if the breaks in between will be 15 minutes, don't exceed 15 minutes. Watch that favorite show of yours within 15 minutes, and after 15 minutes, you switch it off and turn back to what you're supposed to do. I think it's kind of fun, and it makes it easy for you to stay on that task until you're done with it. Point number 4 on how to beat procrastination, I would say you need to get creative. By getting creative, I mean finding an easy way to do what you're supposed to do. It could be that, I'm going to use myself as an example, right? My worst chore at home will be ironing dresses. I really hate ironing, right? What I do most often is, if I have to iron a pile of dresses, then I'll choose to like FaceTime with family or FaceTime with friends, just someone I enjoy talking to, right? I'm just going to FaceTime with them and we can be on the phone for maybe an hour, and I will iron those dresses, or 30 minutes or whatever I need to do. But the honest truth is, as I'm on the phone with these people and I'm ironing those dresses, I hardly ever feel that I'm doing what I really hate doing. And that's all about being creative. Like, you find a way to do what you're supposed to do, regardless of the fact that you hate doing that chore. And for whatever difficult chore or task it is that you're supposed to accomplish, you could equally find what works for you. It could be playing music and singing to the music while you do what you're supposed to do. But you need to find a way to do what you're supposed to do and when you're supposed to do it in order to beat procrastination. And that creates the difference between the ordinary and the extraordinary people. Ordinary people just sit around and do nothing because they feel like, oh, I'm not in the mood for this and that. But extraordinary people will go push themselves out and do whatever they're supposed to do, even when they don't feel like doing that. That's how you become extraordinary, or that's how you like stay way out of an average person. Over to the next point, I recommend getting help when needed. Sometimes you might just need an extra motivation, a small push to get what you're supposed to do done when you have to do it. So most often, you need to talk to someone who has done what you need to do or what you're trying to do. Let's say you have a goal of losing weight and you find it pretty difficult while you're on it and you just procrastinate the whole time. An easy way out would be talking to someone who has gone through that same path, because I believe that success always leaves a trace, right? Find someone who has done that thing that you want to do and talk to them. And maybe their strategy could just be their strategy. It could just be some extra motivation or whatsoever. It pushes you a little bit and you can achieve that thing you're trying to do. Over to the next point, I'm gonna say give yourself consequences for not taking action. By giving yourself consequences for not taking actions, it means you're losing something. Particularly, you lose something when you don't achieve a goal you're supposed to achieve before the deadline or at the deadline. So personally for me, last year I had like a friend with whom we did this together. I would lose €5. Like, I had to first of all communicate my goals, talk about whatever it is that I wanted to achieve, and we set a timeline or a deadline to these things. And what actually happens is I would lose €5 if I don't do what I'm supposed to do when I'm supposed to do it, right? And it might seem like €5 is quite a small amount of money to you, but think of paying out €5 every other week and see how much it adds up to. So yeah, it kind of pushes you in a way to do what you're supposed to do. Or you could tell yourself, for instance, let's say you're not eating out the entire month, or you're not hanging out with friends if you don't do what you're supposed to do. You're not partying, you could just cut shut yourself off from a certain thing if you don't do what you're supposed to do, and that kind of conquers procrastination. That's basically my point of view. And the next thing I'm going to talk about when it comes to procrastination, or how you can conquer procrastination, with getting yourself an accountability partner. I'm sure you have heard about the accountability partner thing. I feel like it actually works because, like I said in the previous point, I've had someone that we did something like that, and at the end of the day I could kind of see how much this person pushed me into achieving the things I set out to achieve within that given period of time. So most often you want to get someone you can trust, like a trustworthy person that you can talk to about everything that you're planning to do or your upcoming moves. It's not just everyone that can be an accountability partner, of course, but you need to know who to reach out to hold you accountable to the things you said you're going to do, and they're going to most likely push you a little bit when you're slacking on the things you're supposed to do, and that helps you to get out of the rut, if that makes sense. And the next point sounds a little bit silly, but I think it's way effective. Strive to complete the first 5 minutes of everything you say you're going to do. I tell you, the reason why we procrastinate most often is just because of the first 5 minutes. We just don't see how to get beyond the first 5 minutes. But the honest truth is, by the time you hit the 5-minute max or the 5-minute goal, then you see a way to carry that task up until the end. Always try for the first 5 minutes. Let's say it's going to the gym. Just try to put on your gym clothes and get into the tram or get into the train or whatsoever. If you're driving, just put on your gym clothes and get into the car. By the time you start driving out, that's about it. You're going to get into the gym and you realize that the only thing you can do there is work out or train and go home. It could be cleaning. Let's say you wake up and you're not feeling so good, but you need to clean because the house is a little bit messy. Just try to accomplish the first small task. It could be putting your laundry, like sorting your laundry out. The moment you pour that basket of laundry on the floor and you start sorting, like color sorting, the next thing that comes to your mind is that you have to load the laundry machine and run it for the first wash. And when you can successfully go through the first wash, spread them out on the dryer or you tumble dry them or whatever it is that you do, automatically the third and the fourth and the fifth batch goes in, and before you know it, the day comes to an end and your house is sparkling clean just because you could accomplish the first 5 minutes of the day. So I urge you to go with the 5 minutes rule. I feel like it works. Not like I feel like, I'm confident that it works, because each time I'm reluctant to start something and I go above the 5-minute mark, I complete the task whether I want it or not. So try the first 5 minutes or try the 5 minutes rule and see what it does for you. Then this is like point number 9. Break down your goals into the tiniest chunk, the smallest bits. Most often when you're having those low days, like when you just don't feel like doing anything, you're just procrastinating on everything, is because you look at your goals to be a mountain, and the best way to get to them is to bring them down into small bits and pieces. We could say for the year you intend to lose 15 kg. But the thing is, when you look at 15 kilograms, you're like, oh my god, when am I going to get to 15 kilograms? You know what? Divide this 15 across the months of the year and just be working on whatever it is that you're working on. You could be working on 1 point something. Let's just say you're working on 2 kgs every month. And when you bring it to 2 kgs every month, or you bring it to about 3 to 5 kgs every 3 months, you realize that it's more feasible than just looking at it from up there at 15. It could equally be your goal is to make 10,000 euros or whatsoever. But when you think about 10,000 euros and you look at yourself or you look at where you are, 10,000 euros will be like quite far from you, and it'll be a little bit impossible. It seems a little bit impossible to attain that objective. But you know how you're going to make it small. Do you know how you're going to make it possible? Start looking at the 100s, the 200s, the 300s. When you start at this pace, you're going to realize that you just set yourself time limits, because this 10,000 goal is to be spread across a given period of time. But if you bring it down to 100 euros maybe every month, you see that it's way possible to attain 100 euros every month, and you can start working on it, and that's way easier than just looking at it from 10,000 and you just sit down and be like, oh, I don't see myself achieving this. It's not possible. There is always a way. You just need to figure it out. There's always a way. And so that was point number 9. For point number 10, which is the last point on this video, I'm just going to talk about consistency in general. whatever you're doing to break the procrastination or to get out of the procrastination rut, whatever it is that you're doing, you need to stay consistent to it, especially what you realize that is working. If anything is working, keep doing it. Keep doing it until you see the results that you want. Do not relent your efforts or do not stop in between, because most often if you're supposed to do this for like 3 months to start seeing the results and you do it for 2 months, you're most likely not going to see any results and you'd have wasted your time. So just go ahead and do what you're supposed to do for as long as you need to do it to see the results. Work on the progress every day, because trust me, no one is going to come to you on the couch or on the bed to give you whatever it is that you want to achieve for 2024. There is nobody coming, no one is coming. So it's time to get your butt out of bed and do what it is that you're supposed to do in this year and for yourself. So that is it. That brings us to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, guys, and I hope you found it educative or informative. If you did, guys, please don't forget to hit the red subscribe button to become a part of our community. Let's grow this community together, guys. Subscribe and let's grow this community together, my people. And also, please don't forget to like and share this video. If you watch up until this point, you're amazing. Thank you for sticking around, and I'll see you in our next video. Until then, guys, do stay focused and stay blessed.